Hello, everybody. We are live, and I trust you can hear us and see us. I'll just check on my monitor, but I'm pretty sure we're good. Find out here in just a second. And I trust you. Yep, we are good. We are good to go. So, welcome everybody. Happy St. Patty's Day for those of you that celebrate it. We don't really. We're not Irish, for one thing. And apparently, the Irish in Ireland don't really celebrate it either.
No, not much. One of my bosses years ago was Irish descent, and him and his brother and a bunch of other people that they knew all went to Ireland right around this time of the year, figuring that they're going to have a party it up for St. Patrick's Day, and they were disappointed because they didn't do much special there. We do more here than they do there. So
yeah, well, when we were in Ireland, it seemed like it was party night every night there.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a stereotype to turn around and say that the Irish might abide a little bit more than most people do and things. But you want to know something? Once you've been to Ireland, there's a pub within 5 minutes of wherever you are.
at least one anyway.
At least one, if not several.
When we were in Belfast. What was that? We were probably on a fairly main road, but across the road from us there was a pub, and there was about two other pubs within eyeshot of where we were staying.
And they were partying into the wee hours of the morning, and it was not a weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Irish are a happy lot, for sure. But anyways, now you may wonder what we are drinking, because you just saw me put my water bottle up, and Walter has a glass of bubbly water as well. And when I say bubbly water, I mean soda stream kind of a thing. And you might say, but wait, it's St. Patty's Day. Why aren't you drinking beer? You're usually drinking beer. And why is the beer not green? Well, we're not drinking that. Walter has decided that he doesn't want to drink right now. Lately, he's been having a little problem.
Well, no, I just decided that I'm gonna be dry for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, we're going to Australia. You'll be dry for a couple of weeks. Yeah, not really. Well, we don't drink that much to start with either. But I mean, actually, lately, in the last month or two, I'm pretty much happy with on a Friday night having a glass of wine. Yeah, and it's a regular sized glass, do not, a goblet, with it, because I don't know, I just not interested much anymore in it, and it's not the thrill it was. I don't mind it with a dinner now. God, I'm sounding like an old man.
You are.
Yeah, well, what were you? But anyways, at least, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had too much when I was younger and I'm pickled. I don't know. Not really. I wasn't even a heavy, well, I suppose in comparison to us now, when we were in our 20s and our 30s, well, there were occasions like Friday night after school. Ooh, there were some wild times there, I can tell you. With it, the booze was just a flowing. But now, yeah, not that interested. But anyways, to show support for Walter, I'm just sticking to bottled water, to a bottle of water. So who is here? Judy is here, and Diane is here, and Barb's here, and Nancy from Chile, WI. Is that Wisconsin?
I think so.
Yeah. Charlotte is here. Donna. Barb says it's 18 degrees C in Calgary. Well, it's a lot warmer there than it is here.
It's only 5 here.
And in fact, looking
at
it
was snowing. It's
snowing now.
And there was ice pellets.
Yeah, we had ice pellets. Not a lot. It didn't last very long, but yeah, so weird weather. I'm just hoping. Have you looked at the long distance forecast for next Sunday?
Good question.
Like, I'm hoping it'll be a nice day.
I was I have been looking at it before, but I don't recall what.
Because
if I've looked at it recently, where is this weather thing?
Like Air Canada, if there's a speck of snow, it doesn't fly. They spend half the day de-icing, they say.
Well, they say Saturday's gonna. Oh, not Sydney.
Oh, well, that's a little different.
Oops.
You're looking at what's-
Sunday, it's supposed to be 2 degrees next week.
And is it doing anything?
Well, Monday is supposed to be raining.
I don't care about Monday.
So Sunday, it says it's cold still.
Well, it's okay as long as it's not doing anything. As long as it's
Yeah.
clear in that would be fine. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. You know,
I mean, we had some warm days this year. This past week, we're up to 16 at
Yeah.
one point, and that's pretty warm for us. So
anyway, so Barb, you're enjoying nice weather. That's good. Tamala is here, and Sue and Carla from Maryland, USA, where spring has sprung in my garden with hundreds of magnificent daffodils. Well, nothing has sprung here yet
yeah, it won't spring for another
little while.
depending on what. It's been real kind of crazy weather lately.
Yeah, and let's see. Suzanne is here. I think I said hello to Charlotte. Kim is here from Nova Scotia. Teresa Summerfield is here, joining you in the sewing room whilst working on a quilt. Well, that seems appropriate. Melissa is here. Stephanie is here. And Andy is here. Gwendolyn is here. Shannon is here. And any of the...
Jeannie?
Yeah, Jeannie. Okay, like, I was getting to Jeannie. I was taking a pregnant pause. And now, when you do this to me all the time, then I forget what I was going to say.
Well, I guess it couldn't have been important.
Well, you got to stop interrupting me.
Okay, fine.
You do that all the time. You just interrupt me. You talk right over me and the whole bit. I was going to say something. Damn it. Oh, to all the people that have YouTube channels out there, which you probably know how to do this anyways, but it does work on mine now as well. If you put an exclamation mark selfie, SELFIE, your YouTube channel will come up for people who may not know who you are. But I don't know how anybody would not know who most of you are. Anyways, Scrunchin's here. Karen B is here. Jeannie is here. Carla's having green tea. Okay. Marilyn is here. Colleen is here. Candace. Kathy Riles is here. Loves our shirts. Yes, we are sporting Walter shirts. This, of course, is the one that I'm saving for Australia. It will be going with me. My pecker shirt. I said to Walter, should have had one with kangaroos on it. But if we see some fabric in Australia that has kangaroos on it, Walter says we'll get that and he'll make me a kangaroo shirt. Because you know what I always say about kangaroos, right? They're so fluffy. Yeah, they eat your gullet too, yeah. If I missed anybody, Nancy Gardner is here. Melissa is here from, is that Delisle? Saskatchewan. Okay. Oh, Nancy from Belleville. Okay. Jeff is here. Finally back, down for a while. Hope all is well. Oh, geez, Jeff, we haven't seen you for a while. I hope you weren't down because you were sick or something like that. Patsy's here. She's nursing a broken patella and pending surgery.
Uh-oh. That's not fun.
What's a patella?
Patella is your kneecap.
Ooh.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I haven't had it
No,
broken.
it wasn't broken, but you...
I had a tendon that was broken.
Yeah. Pamela's here from Minnesota. So Terry is here. Yeah, we're sorry to hear that too, Patsy, because that's not a good thing.
That's a big operation.
That is, yeah. And hopefully all will go well, and hopefully you'll get your surgery real soon. If it's needed. You're saying it's pending, but anyways. So welcome everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you that enjoy that kind of thing. And let's get started with what I've been working on. I have to find the pic here. So you have seen this in bits and pieces, and that's not what I wanted. Get that off the screen. This is what I want, if I can. Okay, I had it here. Why that bloody cursor? It's because I'm not sitting in the right spot. Okay, here we go. This is called the Diamond Trip. It is a free pattern from Jordan Fabrics. It's a Donna Jordan original. And yeah, it's if you've got some leftover strip pieces, they're 2.5-inch strips, a jelly roll. That's what I made it from. I had this jelly roll I've had forever. Never did anything with it. So I used it for this, and the diamonds are on her pattern. She makes them in black. I decided that was too dark with the colors I was using, so I went to white. And I added the two borders, the little skinny inner border and the wider outer border. And again, that was leftover K facet strips from a jelly roll that I've had for ever and ever. So that's the top. It has to be thrown on Lucy now, along with the other two I still haven't gotten to yet on Lucy, and I'll get it all done up. It's not going to get done before we leave for Australia, so that will be a project down the road. So that's what I've been working on. And Walter, what have you been working
Well,
on?
I've been working on a shirt. Hopefully I'll get it done before I leave. I should. It's all I need to do is hem it and put the buttons on it. So yeah.
It's very tropical. It'll be a good one for
Yeah, I think
Australia.
I've shown this before. It has spots on it, so it looks like you had coffee stains.
Yeah, you showed it last week,
Yeah,
but now you've
so-
got more of it done.
Yeah, I've got the collar on it, and it's
Yeah.
getting there.
Because last week you didn't have the collar and anything
Yeah.
like that. So, yep. So we'll be well dressed. Not yet.
No, I'm not doing
time
that
for
yet.
that yet. Okay. So let's see. Traveling Quilter's here. Hi, Traveling Quilter. And people love the quilt and love the colors. Ingrid is here. Hi, Ingrid. Watching on the TV. You guys are supersized.
Yeah.
Kind of like a McDonald's French fry. Yeah.
We're supersized anyway.
No, we're not. Speak for yourself. Go away. So yes, I see that Nightbot is working for those of you that have YouTube channels, so that's great. Thanks, Stephanie. Nancy says, love the quilt and we'll probably try this pattern. Yeah, it's not a hard pattern. The trick in it, though, is you want to really be very careful to line up the little triangle, the white triangle pieces in there, because if you were to look at mine, there are a few that aren't quite exactly perfect, but I'm not pointing those out to anybody. But yeah. Thanks, Nancy. Are men's shirts difficult to master? So Terry wants to know, Walter.
I don't know.
What? Haven't you mastered them yet?
Well, no, I don't think I've mastered them yet. I've made quite a few of them, but short sleeve anyway. Long sleeve I haven't done much of, mainly because long sleeves with cuffs are a real pain. But anyway, once you get going at them, they're not too bad. But there is a fair bit of work involved in each of the shirts. So depends. Do you like doing women's shirts?
I would think women's shirts are easier.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It depends on what they use for collars. The collar can be a bit tricky. Putting the sleeves in is a bit tricky. I've tried a few methods. Somebody suggested a method on here, and I looked it up and I tried it, and it didn't really work for me. So sleeves always give me trouble. Armholes, I mean. And yeah, the only thing is they're very time consuming.
What to make? Yeah, well, that's why I only have
from
one.
the time that one of the guys that taught us estimated 15 plus hours to make a shirt. So
Yeah, Andy says, hi, Andy. Walter, how many shirts have you made?
that's a good question. Probably
most of them.
more than 10.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Probably more like 20. Guessing.
Has it been that? Well, yeah.
Probably.
Between the ones for yourself and one for me, yeah. Russ is here. Hi, Russ. He says, good afternoon, S&W for my local Publix, where shopping wasn't a pleasure. 20 minutes for them to make a sub. Oh, okay. No Chick-fil-A? Oh, Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays, is it?
No,
That's right. Oh, gee, you'll probably go through withdrawal, Russ. Can't get your Chick-fil-A. Melissa is here too. She says, love your shirts. Are they from a bought pattern, Walter?
Yes, they are. It's a pattern. I've said this before on here. I got it online. It's a PDF pattern. Actually, I've got a couple of shirt patterns, but I like this one the best. And it's called the Gosling, Gosling. It's very, it's available several places on the internet, so you just do a search. And it's by a company called So Deaf, SEWSEW DEF. It's actually a magazine, I guess, that is called So Def, and they published this pattern. It's a fairly simple pattern. I altered it a little bit at the front. It comes in two versions. One is more of a what do you call it? Western style, where where the collar goes down in an L shape or whatever. Or you can make it so that the collar is just straight across, and that's what I've done.
Oh, okay. So the traveling quilter says Moments shirts might have darts. I think she means woman. I think spell check got in there.
Woman shirts have darts. Or
What?
the boobs.
Oh, okay. Well, just saying, might have to put a few darts in mine as well. That's a sad thing. Let's see. So Terry says she likes sewing pretty much all things, but she's avoided collars. Are collars hard?
Once you get the hang of them, they're not that hard. I don't hate doing collars. I find collars are okay, except that these collars, these are called stand-up collars, and they have three pieces to them. There's this part that has the button on it. That's the under collar, and then they have the collar on top of it. So it's actually three pieces, and they're all interfaced.
Well, what I like about the collars on this is they're not limp. I don't like limp collars.
They're interfaced. So.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, you can buy shirts off the rack too, and some of them have really limp collars on. Well,
I don't find they're difficult to do. They're just they can be a little fiddly. But
I like something nice and stiff.
But I do like this kind of collar. I have another one that I've done, which is looks like a bowling shirt where the collar goes down like a V and around. And I don't really like that. I have two of those shirts that I made, and neither one of them I'm very happy about them. I don't like wearing them that much.
No, I don't like that style. Okay, if you're going bowling, I guess. So, anyways, that's what Walter...
And if you like that shirt, that's called the Tropical shirt from Wardrobe by Me.
Oh, okay.
And it's also a PDF pattern, but I don't like that collar on it.
But none of these are free patterns.
These are purchase patterns. Yeah. They're not that expensive. They're $10 or $15
Canadian
to purchase.
So they're 50 cents American.
No, I think they're American. That's American price.
Oh, is it? Oh, geez. A lot more Canadian then.
But you have to print them off PDF version on your printer and tape them together, or you can take them to a printer like Staples and have them printed off at a cost. So.
Yeah, Russ says limp collars and limp bacon both are bad. Very true, actually. That's very true.
And limp other things.
Limp other things. Never mind. We're not going there. You're talking from person. Never mind. Okay, so let's look at what's coming up this week. We've got Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, and this is the last one I will be officially on for a few weeks, for about 3 weeks, but they are still going. Stephanie is taking full control, and so the link for this week is the usual link that's in my show notes, but I will send an email out to everybody that's on my mailing list, and so whether or not you're a regular to Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, you'll get the email if you're on the mailing list, because I don't have a separate list for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, but I will put out the link that Stephanie has created, which will be, you can use on the 27th of March, because that'll be the first Wednesday that I won't really be involved. Now, having said I won't be involved, depends where we are, what we're doing. We might make a little candid appearance on the sewing thing. You have to remember, we will be a day ahead of you guys. It'll be Thursday.
14 to 15 hours ahead of Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Yeah, we'll be kind of like Philippa. If everybody knows Philippa from Australia, what she does on the sew days, she comes on, and for her it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of weird, because when we land in Sydney, we're 15 hours ahead. But Brisbane is actually 14 hours ahead. Sydney, the province in Sydney is New South Wales, and they're on daylight savings time, and Brisbane is in a province called Queensland, and I'm assuming it's called a province. And
No, I think they call it a. I think they call it a state.
okay, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Maybe somebody can correct me.
You'll have to look that up in your funkin' wagon.
Anyway, and Queensland is not on daylight savings time. So somewhere throughout, at around April 8th, the Sydney falls backward because they're in the fall,
Yeah,
right? So they end up matching Brisbane's time in after April
it
8th.
gets very, very confusing. Time zone hard. Yeah. Oh, yes. And I forgot, I was starting to mention, but Walter interrupted me like he does, and then it made me forget. But Stephanie has put it in here in the chat that she will have the link on in her community tab on her channel as well. So check that out to get the right link. Not this week coming, not this Wednesday. The link is the link that's in the show notes. That's in the show notes for this today when this airs, or when this gets published, and in the vlogs that I do next week on Monday and Tuesday. It'll be there. But then after that, you'll need to go to Stephanie's community tab to find it, or watch your mailbox if you're on my mailing list, because I'll send that out probably next Thursday for everybody. Okay, that should confuse everybody completely.
Yeah, Philippa has told us that it's a state.
It is a state. Yeah. That's
Okay,
what I
thank
thought.
you.
Yeah.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Ooh, what was that? Excuse me. Can I hear that
Oops.
again? That was your what? Your what? What? I didn't hear.
Right.
Say
Yeah,
it again.
Philippa says there's no daylight savings time in Queensland right now. So
Straight change the subject. Yeah. It's the moment at 6:10 a.m. Okay. And it's Monday there. So, yeah, we actually lose a day on our flight over because we leave next Sunday, and it's total flight time for us from Toronto. We fly from Toronto to Vancouver. That's about what, 5 hours?
yeah,
About 5 hours. Then we
And
have
we have
what, about a
2 hour layover.
Yep. And then
Vancouver.
we pick up on the same plane actually and fly to Australia. And so that's another 17 hours.
No, it's about 15 hours.
Okay, so the total flight then's 20 hours.
No, it's 22.
5 hours to get to BC, 15 hours to get that equals 20.
Plus a 2 hour layover.
Well, that's not flying, is it? That's not like I'm in the air flying away, flapping my wings. No.
Well, you said how long does it take to get from Toronto?
No, I said, how long does it take to fly?
Well, I count the stopover as flying.
Well, I didn't. So we weren't on the same page, were we?
Well, anyway, so because we cross the international date line, that's where we lose the day. And on the way back, we get it all back again.
Yeah, in fact, we leave on the 18th of April and we arrive home on the 18th of April. Time zone's hard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we leave in the morning and come back in the afternoon. Like, so we leave at like 9 o'clock in the morning. From Sydney, and arrive in Toronto after 22 hours of flying. We arrive in Toronto the same day at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. And Joanne is here. Hello, Joanne. And Joan has joined us. Joan says, hope you have a safe trip to Australia. So do we. And hope you have a great time.
On Boeing.
So do we. Yeah. Are we flying on a Boeing?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. Are we anywhere near the door?
No.
Or the plug?
No.
Whatever. Okay. Who knows? Oh well. If a door blows out, that's too big to jam a baby in. The windows are easier. But whatever. Time travelers. Yeah, that's what it's like. And believe me, jet lag is the thing when you do this kind
Actually,
of trip.
it's not too bad on the way there. It seems to be worse on the way back.
Home. And we're lagged for the last time we came back from Australia. I think we were feeling the effects of it for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah,
which
it's
was
really
weird.
bad. I think when you're when you go there, you're kind of hyped up that you're on on vacation, and then when you come back, you don't.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. So, anyways, take plenty of duct tape, Patsy says. Yeah, for sure.
No, that's flying Alitalia.
Yeah, we flew air,
Alitalia. Actually, I think Alitalia is out of business now.
oh, well, I wonder why, because
Um, Alitalia literally had duct
duct tape
tape on the overhead cabinets and some of the
at some
seats.
of the seats. It was a scary little
And
flight.
they had an old style. This was in 2008, an old style TV set. You know, the video monitor TV sets like the old CRT styles, and they were playing a movie on there, and everything was green.
Yep. Oh, that was a horrendous.
I was actually feared for my life getting back
And that's
on that flight.
and that's the one where we didn't know whether or not we were going to be at the beginning of a strike.
Yeah.
Of course, in Italy they strike every other week on everything, and that's when
Well, no, that's when our flight there got canceled, and we ended up getting rebooked on Etihad.
oh yeah, ooh, that was the other opposite extreme. Oh, Edie
Yeah, on our way there, we were supposed to leave on December 23rd. It was school holidays for Steve.
yeah, I was still
And
working.
that day we found out the flight was canceled to Cairo. And it was supposed to go to Rome first and then to Cairo. And we found out the morning that we were supposed to leave that the flight was canceled because of the strike that they were having. So we called the travel agent and everything else, and they got us on another flight called Etihad, and it went through Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
And at that point in time, I didn't know where Abu Dhabi was.
Abu Dhabi
Abu Dhabi, where's that?
That's
Anyway,
where the Flintstones live.
So
Abu Dhabi.
we had to fly 12 hours to Abu Dhabi, and then and transfer over in Abu Dhabi to a connector flight that flew from Abu Dhabi back 4 hours backwards to Cairo to get there the day after our tour started. And the first day of the tour in Egypt was
The pyramids.
the pyramids. So we missed the pyramids.
But we didn't miss the pyramids. We missed the pyramids on that day, but when we got back, this was an organized tour, and we were on a riverboat going down the Nile, and we went to all the temple sites and everything. We went from Cairo, or no, we went from Luxor to, how'd that work?
We'll Luxor to the Aswan Dam, that I think.
Yeah, or whatever. And but when we got back, when we finally got off the riverboat, we were back in Cairo. We did have a little time there, so we got a taxi driver to take us to the pyramids. He was great. He was a great guy. No scam, nothing like that. And we probably got a better tour of the pyramids with this guy than we would have on the organized tour. And apparently the organized tour were in the middle of a sandstorm when they went too. So,
Yeah.
Things have a way of working out. And plus, that flight.
The flight, the Etihad flight to Abu Dhabi
I'm
was
still
the
orgasming over it.
best flight we had ever had.
Oh, it was. It was incredible.
We paid a lot
We
for it.
paid a lot. Yeah. Did we get that money back though?
We got 1,000 of it back.
Yeah.
We still ended up, we were still in the hole, but it was,
But
the
it
flight
was.
there was just incredible.
And the food was, oh
we're
my
in
God.
economy class, and the food was great.
It was great. It was like, never ever had airplane food like this before. This was not airplane food. This was real food. This was really good food. Yeah. So yeah.
I think they fed us 3 times.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, they did. So, but anyways, yeah, we had a layover in for a couple of hours or so in Abu Dhabi. So all we saw of Abu Dhabi was their airport. And at that time, it was their old airport. I've heard now since that time that we went, they've rebuilt the whole airport, and it's supposed to be much more luxurious, the kind of
Yeah,
thing.
actually, it was weird. Their old airport was like being inside an Aladdin's lamp.
Yeah.
That's what it was designed as.
Nancy
It was
wants to
really
know,
bizarre.
where is Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi is very close to Dubai, if you know where Dubai is, and that's in the Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates. It's one of their nice state nice cities.
Yep.
I believe it's about a half an hour or so drive, right? A half an hour or an hour drive from Abu Dhabi to Dubai.
But yeah, but of course we were just doing a 2 hour or so. It might have been a little longer than 2 hours, and layover. So I mean,
Yeah.
there wasn't any time to go and explore Abu Dhabi while we were
No,
there.
we
just
were
saw
just
the
saw
airport.
the inside.
Yeah, the inside of the airport. What are you doing? Throwing up?
No, yeah, it's fine.
Well, don't throw up. Andy says, will you be posting videos on this trip? Well, we're coming to that. We're going to tell you all about what our plans are as we're in Australia in a moment. But first, I want to talk about a couple of other things that happened this week. We had the social review, and that's with the Fab Five, Stephanie, Shannon, Russ, and Walter and I. And we talked about organization. Now, we've had comments that people thought that was a really good episode. They got lots of ideas, and I think we enabled a few people to buy a few things as well, some storage items. My personal opinion was I felt a little uncomfortable with it. I'll be upfront and honest about it because I'm a very structured person, and we weren't very structured with it. I mean, when the five of us are together, we can handle anything, so it's not a big problem. But I like talking notes, kind of a thing with it. But that's just me. That's just me. As long as other people loved it and thought it was great, then I'm not worried about it. So, anyways, the next one will be Sans, Walter, and I. Maybe. Next one is the second Wednesday in April. We'll be still in Australia at the time, but we are going to try, and all things, you don't know, depending on the technology, time, all that place, what we're doing, where we're at, we're going to try to join in for that for at least a little bit. We'll see how that all works out. We had pop-up sew day yesterday, had quite a few. I never did look at the number to see what our top number was during the day because people come and go with it, but I think we had a pretty good crowd. It was certainly lively, that's for sure. Lots of stuff we talked about, lots of sewing going on and everything like that. So that's when I finished the diamond trip that I showed you earlier. Walter was working on his shirt when he eventually got on. We start early in the day for Walter, so he got there lunch, something like that, whatever. But anyways, there won't be another pop-up sew day for a while. Well, obviously because of Australia, but also the retreat. The Idiot Quilter Spring Retreat is coming up very quickly after we get home. May the 4th, Saturday, May the 4th. That happens. Tomorrow on my channel, there will be a special video that will go live at 9 o'clock, and it is a video that tells you everything you need to know about the spring retreat. And that includes how to register, when to register, pay close attention to that, and about what we're doing during the spring retreat. Yeah, all the details will be in that video, plus everything that I talk about in that video, I have copied down into the show notes as well of that video. So, if you miss something, or you can just cut and paste those into a word processor page or whatever, into your Word page, and you'll have all the information there at your fingertips too. So watch for that. That goes up tomorrow, 9 o'clock. So Monday. Okay, so that means that the next pop-up sew day will probably not be until middle of April, or not middle of April, middle of May. It's going to be a while for that. Well, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Yep. We'll see how that works out. Okay, just see if anybody had any questions. Yeah, I'm going to get to Andy's question in a moment. So, one of the things that we decided to do before we go to Australia was we thought, well, we better check and see if we need measles shots. And you've heard us, say that we had to get a blood work done, had to have blood test to determine whether or not we had the immunity in our system, because as kids we had measles and that kind of thing, and supposedly that's okay. However, we don't know because we haven't got the results of our blood test. We were told it would take a little longer than a usual blood test. It would take about 5 days. 5 days came and went. 7 days came and went. Walter called our doctor, and we got the receptionist there, the assistant, and she says, "Yeah, they're a little backlog. You know, COVID has put everything in the back."
No, it was measles that backlogged them.
What? It was actual measles that was
Yeah,
backlogging?
yeah, because everybody was paranoid all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, get your kids shot. Do with that what you will. But yeah, so then Walter tried to call the first of this past week, and yeah, our doctor's on holidays because it's March break here this past week. She has children, and so she's off on March break. You know, she couldn't have just mentioned that fact to us beforehand that she was going on holidays. I mean, I don't resent her going on holidays. She's a human. She needs holidays. She needs breaks. Her job's high tension, you know, high stress and things like that. But it would have been nice to know. So when
I'll call tomorrow.
when you call tomorrow, and if we get the results, and if she recommends we get a measles shot, well, then we'll say, and when can you do that? And even then, as far as, you know, if we need this shot, well, the shot doesn't fully kick in until it takes it 3 weeks. It takes 21 days.
Well, I read it takes 14 days.
Well, I read it took 21.
Okay, well,
Where's your source from?
I don't
I don't know. Well, either way, 2 or 3 weeks, it means that it won't have kicked in until we're almost halfway through or beyond our trip into Australia, which was really the point of why we were looking into all of this.
Yeah, well, I don't think it matters that much.
Well, maybe not. You say that now. Wait, you come home all red blotchy. Of course, you sometimes are red and blotchy. No matter. Actually, your complexion is looking really good today. Guess because you stopped drinking.
Hydrated.
Moisturizer. Always use moisturizer. You can't be too young to start a moisturizing routine. Day you're born, moisturize. Yep. Get those babies nice and soft. Thimble, Hook, and Shuttle is here, which is Iser, I believe, from Las Vegas. Yep. Oh, it's cold in sunny and cold in Las Vegas. Not a good time to visit. Well, we weren't planning to anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, we usually go to if the few times that we've been to Las Vegas, we always went when it was a bad time.
Yeah.
Flood. We went one time when the first time we ever went was it was pouring rain when we went.
Yeah, and you know, like pouring rain here, not a big deal. There it was a big deal.
Yeah,
it was big. Caesar's Palace was leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was filling the street because basically, I guess in Las Vegas they aren't really used to that kind of rain. Well, they are basically what? Kind of desert. So yeah. So that kind of was kind of freaky. And another time we went at March break time, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
And it was a little
it was coolish.
Yeah, they turned on their little propane heaters out on their patios at the Mirage, because we were staying at the Mirage at that time. Yeah, so traveling courses, you need 2 shots, one a month after the first.
Well, that's only supposedly if you haven't had any kind of immunity in the past.
Yeah, if you've never had any.
If you're old people like us, you only really need 1 shot.
Children need 2. Yeah. But if you're old farts like us, 1 will do, unless you have like a really compromised immune system or something like that. Yeah. It's amazing all this information that people give us all the time that, you know, you have to remember, Walter does his research. Be careful. Actually, the reason I bring that up is because we've had a few people send us emails telling us, you know, that we're wrong about certain things. And we do our research. Okay? Just to let you know, people, we do our research on this. Doesn't mean we know everything. Okay? And when in doubt, is Heidi here? We usually consult with Heidi about that kind of stuff. But anyways, sunny and cold, best time to visit Las Vegas. Okay, 60s is not cold. That's shorts weather in Ohio. Yeah, well, the same here. Yeah, 60s. That's balmy. That's balmy. Okay, so anyways, blood tests. Well, nice for planning, but no cigar there. Okay, here's a funny. So Walter discovers, again, I told you, Walter does his research. Apparently, I am not the only bland designs on YouTube. Walter found a guy in England. His name is Daniel Bland, and he has a YouTube channel, and it's Bland_design. Not mine is Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, of course. But I looked this guy up. I can show you what his website looks like. Just switch it over for you. So here he is. He is an artist, and he specializes in doing treatments for walls, interior design, and he's got some really cool designs, and he loves to use gold leaf. Now, they're a little busy for my taste, but this stuff that you see here in one of them, this mural-like background paper or wallpaper, he designs it. It's his creation with this. He does art as well. But I just found it kind of interesting that here we go. And he's been around for a while too, because I think he started in 2013.
Well, he's got more subscribers than you do.
Yeah, I know. Has less videos though. But he's 85,000 subscribers on it. So I wrote to him, and to find out, whether, see, my family, well, from what I can figure out, my family came from England, of course, right? But I am stalled when I was doing genealogy, and I could never get by the brick wall about my great-great-grandfather, because my great-great-grandfather's name was William Ostler Bland. Well, guess what? You know how many William Blands there are in England in history? Everybody's first name was William, and there were a lot of Blands. And I can't find the connection. In fact, I'm not even sure if his middle name was Ostler or not. Weird middle name. Ostler. I'm still not absolutely sure to this day, 100%. I'm pretty sure it is from what I could find out, but don't know. And he's the one that came here from England and started our line of the family here in Ontario. And so I just wrote to him and said, hi, kind of interesting. Found your website. I have one on here too. My last name's Bland. Your last name's Bland. Told him about my great-great-grandfather, and I don't know. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, right? Haven't heard anything from him. He probably thinks I'm a crackpot or something. May not necessarily be completely wrong about that, but may think I'm scamming him. But I did try to put it in enough detail so that he could tell. In fact, I even said, I'm not scamming you. Okay, here's my YouTube channel. You can check it out. So I don't know. Who knows? He looks gay.
Probably is.
Just saying. Okay.
Well, Traveling Quilter said that they made them get 2, even though they're old. Okay.
Okay, fine. I guess it depends on where you go.
Yeah, I know in Australia they said on their website that if you were born before 1970, they assumed you had immunity.
Okay, she's being funny.
Oh.
They also made me take pregnancy test first, and I'm old.
Oh.
I think that's a joke.
Oh.
I think so. That's a good one. Yeah. They won't do a pregnancy test on me. I'm definitely past my childbearing years. Yeah. Yeah, Barb, he does look quite young. Is he a relative? Perhaps you can collaborate on a quilt wall mural.
I think there's a lot of Blands around.
There's a lot of Blands.
There's a lot of Bland people around.
Yeah, actually, I did a search on my name, because one does occasionally. I've done it before. And there are tons of Stephen Blands in the United States. Lots of them. There's a guy that's a lawyer. There's a guy that's in prison. There's all kinds of them around. So, yeah. Makes you feel a little insignificant, doesn't it? Did you do the DNA test? It's amazing what you find out. I did do that once when I was doing genealogy, and at that point in time, and this is quite a few years ago, it was still relatively new that they were offering those things, and nothing came up. Nothing came up. And I no longer have a membership to that. It was Ancestry, done through Ancestry.com. And, I don't have my membership anymore because basically membership is extremely expensive, and I was hitting brick walls. Yeah, sure. If I'd lived in the United States, there's lots of records. the records here in Canada that you want to look for, they now it might have gotten better, but it seemed to be skimpy on that. And then of course you can, if you're a real serious genealogist, I know there are ways around this, but I didn't have the patience. So no, I found out very little about my family because most of my family in that generation with that great grandfather, only one of his sons stayed in Ontario. The rest of them, and he had, I think, 4 girls and 3 boys, or no, 4 boys and 3 girls or something like that. There was 7 or 8 of them. I don't know. They all went west, and I've checked out west and everything, and I cannot find anything about them. It's like they all just sort of disappeared. So I don't know. Oh, Danelle's here. Hello, Danelle. Yeah, Shannon says first sign of a scammer saying I'm not scamming you. Yeah, I suppose that's true. But I took pictures, not a joke. You took pictures of what?
Or pregnancy
Of
test.
the pregnancy test?
Well, actually, Colleen said they got Mayor Drapeau to have a pregnancy test. Remember Expo 67?
God, no, Colleen. I was only 10.
Yeah, I wasn't that. I was less than that.
I mean, I know what Expo 67 was, but okay, I have no idea why we're talking about pregnancy tests. First of all, how bloody old are you, traveling quilter? I thought you were someone in my age group. Are you younger? Because I have no idea why you would be given a pregnancy test. Why? Like, you're not explaining yourself here, which is very typical. I am finding a lot of times in chat. People just jump right in as though we can read your brain. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to say anything more about that. Pam says, I found lots of Swedish, Danish side. Hardly anything on German side. Okay, you're talking about families. At first, I thought you were talking about dishes.
Yeah. I've got, I don't know, we figure there's some Spaniard in the background for me, so.
Yeah, Spaniard in the woodshed?
Yeah, my mom always had, my mom being from Netherlands, always people that were considered to have fair hair. She always had black hair and all the colored skin, so, and they had a Spaniard invasion at one point in time, and she figures that there was a Spaniard in the woodshed. So.
There they all were, the Dutch girls sitting on a dike going, hello, boys, ole, hola, hola. Well, your mother did. I mean, if I didn't know that your parents had come from Holland, that way, first time I ever met your mother, I would have said she looked like she was Spanish. So, whatever. But what? Pictures of pregnancy test, yes. I said, are you kidding me?
What, they didn't know you were getting one until...
You're not helping us here, traveling quilter. You are in the middle of a conversation in your own head because I'm not getting this. First of all, why would there be pictures of pregnancy test? Why? You're 61. Okay, I'm sorry, honey. Although it has happened, you're probably not for you. So why? You're not explaining the why. You know, you're just giving me this. Because it was the rules before you get MMR,
which is
females have to test, age doesn't matter.
It's MMR is the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination.
Oh, so because it can, damage the fetus thing in there.
Well, you could get.
I guess it could happen, but whatever. Donnell says, heard from Sean, you guys are getting ready to go to Australia. That sounds like so much fun. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to get off the pregnancy and the measles stuff now. So if anybody writes any more comments about those, we're going to ignore them. So let's talk about something that was very controversial yesterday on the Pop-Up Sew Day. Didn't think this was a thing, but apparently it is. Okay, this is going to open up a whole can of worms on here as well, because we're talking about what people use to mark on their quilts. And a few people use, or some people use, the washable Crayola crayons. And so Walter thought he would try...
Well, no, washable Crayola markers.
Or markers. To see if truly, do they wash out if you
Well,
use them?
actually, what happened was a lady I sew with on when I go to the club or whatever. She said the other week, I always use the Crayola washable markers when she has to mark something on a garment that she's making. And she says she really likes the way they work and they wash out. Now, 90% of the stuff that she uses it on is probably like a polyester or something like that. So anyway, I bought some, thought, well, maybe I'll use them, but I'd test them first. Well, I didn't test them up until then, and I hadn't used them yet. So somebody on the group yesterday said, oh, they always use Crayola washable markers to do their marks on stuff, and it washes out all the time. And did that, they've never had a problem with that, right? So I thought, well, I'll take these markers that I've got and do a couple of tests to see if they work, right? So I started, should I go into the test here?
Yeah.
I took a white piece of quilting cotton and I did marks in each color of the 15 colors that I had. But I did a fairly decent mark. It soaked it all the way through the quilting cotton and everything else, and threw it in the wash, and only did a light wash with it, like a 26-minute cycle.
Yeah, the express wash
on our front load washing machine.
Did you use detergent?
And I used a little bit of detergent in cold water, and no
no fabric softener.
So I went to see what the result was. Well, they almost came out clean, but there are some marks.
It'll be difficult to show.
But
you can see down.
But there are some marks that show up very carefully if you look at it. Some of the yellows and the reds and the blacks came out with it. On this sample, I also ran the iron with steam over top of it before I washed it.
So we don't know if the heat of the iron set the washable markers, which may have made it more difficult to wash out.
Things. So then what I did was I did a second swatch where I didn't run the iron over it and washed it, and it came out a little bit better, but you can still see the marks on the fabric. They're not very, very noticeable, but they are there. Okay, so if you do use these markers, be prepared that some residue could still come out with them.
Now, some caveats here. First of all, he did this on white fabric. You may not necessarily be marking on white fabric. You might be marking on a colored fabric. So, for example, if you were using a red fabric and you were marking on it with a darker color or something, after it's been washed, you may not notice if there's any shadowing or ghosting happening there. The other thing was, as we already said, he did use an iron on it, so maybe you shouldn't do that. Donnell wants to know whether or not you would, for piecing or for on the back of a quilt, for marking it for quilting. Well, either way, I know people use these for both. So we just wanted to see what would happen.
And I did, to be honest, I did really put a great big huge mark like this length.
Pretty much saturated it.
And I saturated so it was coming through the other side. So it's a pretty heavy duty mark. So, I mean, personally, I don't think it really made that big of a mark on the white, but you might be aware that it may leave some residue.
Like, I know it's very difficult for you in the camera to see this. I can see, though, the marks that are on here. They are faint, but they are definitely there.
Yeah.
And you would notice them if this was a quilt. If it was
yellow seems to show up, and the reds and the oranges seem to show up. It seems everything's with the yellow base seem to show up more than like the greens and that.
Now, his experiment isn't completely scientifically conducted. Okay, he didn't have a control group and all that kind of stuff and list all the factors, but we got talking about this yesterday, so Walter decided he was going to experiment.
Like, I mean, I probably wouldn't be bothered with it if I used it on a shirt or something like that, because and that I've only washed it once, and I only washed it through the light cycle, and I washed it on cold. So it could be that they'll wash out a little better after a couple of times. But
anyways, I guess the lesson to be learned from this is, if you're not sure, spot check on a scrap piece of fabric first, and also don't saturate it. Okay.
Actually, they asked which markers did you use, so just run upstairs and get them.
Oh, the Heather's saying the Crayola Ultra Clean. They're not the Ultra Clean, though, were they?
I don't know. I can't remember.
No. In fact, it's funny you should say that, Heather, because we were in the dollar store today and we were looking at washable markers, and there was one package that said Crayola washable markers. There was another one that said Crayola Ultra Clean washable markers, which are the ones I think you're talking about. So I'm not sure which ones he used, but he'll bring those down in a second and we'll figure that out. But I mean, I'm always looking for the ultimate marking. I know some people love friction pens and have great luck with them. I don't like them, not so much. Like, there's the whole controversy about if your quilt gets cold, they'll come back or something, and will they come back if you've washed the quilt or not, and then it gets cold? I mean, I don't know. But what I don't like about the friction pens, the ones that I've used, I just don't like how they feel in my hand. So I'm, has nothing to do with it.
No, they do not say ultra clean. These are the ones that I used.
Yeah, the super something, whatever.
And it says washability you can trust.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. But I don't usually mark many things on my quilts anyways. Maybe down the road for something I will have to. But if I mark anything, it's usually when I'm making half square triangles.
So it says here on the back, I didn't even read this.
Oh.
It says Crayola washable markers wash from skin and most washable clothing. Wash promptly in hot wash cycle. Do not use pre-wash, chlorine bleach. Repeat laundering may be required.
Aye, there's the rub.
Yeah.
Okay. It always helps to read your packaging.
However, considering I used a light wash and it washed in cold water, it did come out quite a bit. It's not horrible.
So you might have got more out with a hot.
Yeah.
And also you applied heat to it.
Yeah.
So not.
I mean, just beware.
Yeah. Heather says, I know I've read not to use reds or oranges. Okay. And Nancy uses friction pens. Lots of people use the friction pens. I've used them too. I just don't like the friction pens, period. I don't like trying. The ones that I have used never seem, I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch or something, but I've had several different ones. I don't like how they draw.
On my shirts, I use the Bowen chalk markers on them.
Yeah. But to each his own. If it's working for you, use it.
See, the only thing I use on my shirts, the markers for, the only thing I use is to mark my buttons, where my buttonholes go and where my buttons go.
Yeah. So anyways, that Walter's little experiment, and there you have the very unscientific results from it. So I've been making things, as I do, okay, on the 3D printers. I can tell you this, I'm absolutely loving the automatic bed leveler systems that I bought and installed on most of my printers, and my newest one came with it already on. I should have done this a long time ago. It would have saved me a whole lot of heartache, I can tell you. But I've been making these little articulated like toys for kids, and I got a big basket full of them at the moment. So I thought I'd show you a few of these because they're kind of fun. They're cool. This one is a beluga whale. It's all articulated.
Yeah, actually, what's neat about them is that you print them all as one thing, and they all come all attached.
Like, look at this one. It's a dragon. Okay? And I don't have to attach anything to them or put them together. They all print as one piece on the printer, and you take them off, and they do this. Now, I could not do these before I had the bed levelers on my printers. They would just come out as a solid piece, and then you had to almost break them apart. And then, of course, you started doing that, and yeah, you have a disaster. Then they have ones for really little kids. Like, of course, I made a kangaroo, and he's articulated, but he doesn't move as much as like the dragon thing here. There was a llama, a bear, little robot. He's fun. What'd you do with yours?
They've got it upstairs somewhere.
No. Yeah, well, we'll probably that, but I think that's fun. All printed at the same time. No assembly required. I don't know. There's this little guy. I think he's supposed to be a gecko.
It looks like a skeleton.
Oh, maybe. Here's another rat. Oh, this is a raptor. I like these. These are octopuses. Octopi. But yeah, his little tentacles. So, okay, this one disturbs me. It's a slug, but it's kind of gross. Like, fun. And a jet fighter with the wings come out. Yay. And there's actually another piece you can that came with this that you can print. I didn't print it, but it's a stand for it. And there's a hole in the bottom that the stand would fit into, and so you should print
Somebody's
that.
asking how long they take to print.
Actually, not that long. Now, the one that took the longest to print was probably this guy, the beluga whale, because of his size. And I did him on one of the older printers, so they're slower. My new printer prints about 4 times faster than my older printers. So ones like this one took about 45 minutes to print. This took like about half an hour or less on the new printer. On the older printer, well, it would take a couple of hours with it. So yeah. And then there's just the elephant. I thought he was fun. His little legs bend down. You can have him sitting down or, standing up. A little kid would like these. And I don't think they can get any little parts off it to swallow. That would just be bonus. Then, I like this. The mouse. He's got a little articulated tail, but his little body is articulated too. Yeah, have I been playing? Yeah, quite a bit. Ooh, then we've got this guy. He's some form of a lizard. I don't know. He had a name. And this one is Flamer. Flaming Dragon, they call this one. Look at this sucker. And these are sharp. I don't know. For a kid, this might not be so good. But it'd be a great little weapon. Just whip your face with that. Yeah, that would hurt. Well, let's try. Let's see how... No, come on. Just a little. Just look at...
Here, I'll experiment on you.
Here. Just feel how rough he is.
He is rough.
Don't you hit me. If you hit me, I'll call up the authorities. Spousal
It's got little
abuse.
spikes on it.
Yeah, I know. Then Sharky. We have a little Sharky here.
I find it's really amazing that these things can print all as one piece.
And there's a little smaller slug.
They have like these joints in them, and they're all one piece.
Sea turtle. What else did I have in here that says another Geico, but a Gecko? Gacko.
You don't have your toaster there, do you?
No, toaster's over there. What, you're going to bring the toaster? That was from another project. But anyways, I have a box full of these things, and I went online to see if there's some places where I can donate them, toy drives or something like that.
You made this at the toaster.
It's actually supposed to be for testing the tolerance levels of various aspects of your printer, and it worked out pretty good. There's gears on the side. You see here, these gears. It opens that up so that but all of these things are tests for 3D printers to see, how well they're going to print. And I did this one on the new one. And I didn't try it on the older printers that now have the bed leveling. They would probably come out okay too, but yeah. But all done in one piece. No assembly required. Okay, it came off the printer just like this with it. So it is kind of amazing. So anyways, as I was saying about all these, I've made a ton of these, and I'm looking for places that I could donate them. Well, there was a program in the United States. This is what got me thinking about it. Toys for Tots, or something it was called. It was at Christmas time in 2022. And some guy with a 3D printer reached out to the 3D printing community. Yes, that's a thing. And, what are you doing?
I thought there's something that fell off a lot.
Oh, you're wrecking my toys. Okay. Don't swallow it. Uh, so he got all these 3D printer people to make things like I just showed you, and they were distributed at Christmas time in a toy drive kind of a deal. Well, do we have anything like that in Canada? No. Someone suggested, or I saw, like, what about the fire department? And I was going to contact the fire department and the police station about quilts, because some of you told me that, cop shops and fire departments that like to have them sometimes because, if they go to a situation where there's children and that, it's a horrible situation they're in, like their house is burning down, mom and dad are dead, or something, whatever. They will wrap them in a quilt. It gives them some comfort and things like that. So I put out feelers to that. I've heard nothing. And I showed them pictures of the toys and stuff like that. I've heard nothing from them, so I don't know. I love making them.
So Terry's trying to figure out how it does that. It doesn't actually make a skeleton. It prints all the pieces together as if you had assembled it. And it's just,
if you look at his underbelly, there are hinges that it prints, and then the way the printer prints it, it creates interlocking pieces.
Yeah, it has a space in between them and stuff. So,
and it's just the way it's been designed and programmed. Now, I don't know how to design something like this. I picked these up off a website called Thingiverse. That's where you can get thousands upon thousands of different, they call them models. Like, this is a model. That's what they call it. And you can get like flower vases.
At the little legs in the side there, you see that they're all sort of hooked together, right? And you don't assemble that. That's just the way it prints.
Yeah. So, yeah. You don't have to do too much with it. It just get the file. You do have to put it through another program, a software program called a slicer. And what the slicer does is it generates a code from this 3D model that the printer can read and knows what it's supposed to do at any given moment when it's creating something like this. But they're really cool. But I want to make more, and I want to give them away to kids and things like that, maybe some big boys as well. Because it's big boys who make them. Because a 3D printer is a toy for a big boy, believe me. But I'm still hunting. So if you ever hear of anything around, I'm looking for Canadian though too, which is part of the dimension, because I can't afford to ship these to some institution in the United States.
Yeah, as that Stephanie asked if you can make a seahorse.
Yeah, I think I can. So I'll look into that, Stephanie. Note self seahorse. I have a feeling there probably is one. I think I have seen one with it. There's all kinds. Children's ward at local hospital. That's a thought. I have to see. The worst part about donating stuff I am finding is institutions that are always talking about getting donations. And you contact them and they never contact you back. Like,
no, it's like that. Yeah, like that. Was it that?
Like that Project Linus thing,
Yeah.
the 2 quilts. Holy crap. I had to jump through a flaming hoop to finally get somebody to answer me, to let me know if they were willing. I had pictures of the 2 quilts I wanted to donate, whether or not they would take them. And I only got a hold of the lady who's in the area that represents Project Linus when I went to the head honcho of the national organization. And then she contacted me. And I tried 3-4 times sending emails. I even tried, I looked up her phone number. I found her phone number on the main website for Project Linus. And, and then she told me, oh, yeah, maybe she saw the message and she sent me one back. Maybe it went to my spam. No, it didn't. You did not send me a message. I would have got it. So, yeah, kind of disillusioning, isn't it? Is that a word, disillusioning? I'm pretty disillusioned with this kind of stuff. So I'm still hunting though for this kind of stuff. Hospital have those little gift shops. Ooh, That's right. They do, Nancy. I never thought of that. That would be an idea. It would make a little bit of money for the hospital. It's usually run by the auxiliary group, the ladies auxiliary or whatever. I don't know if they call them ladies auxiliaries anymore because they have men involved too. But that is a really great idea. Okay, definitely I'll check that out. Thank you for that suggestion. Maybe Stollery Children's Hospital in Alberta might be a place to check into. Yeah, but it's in Alberta. It means shipping. Okay? I mean, I'm donating this stuff, whether they want to sell it in their gift shop. I don't care. Okay? With that kind of thing. But are they going to pay for me to ship it? Because this is not cheap. To send stuff like the mail system, anything, even a letter these days costs you, your firstborn. So, that's the problem. But thanks for the suggestion. Children's Hospital Cancer Wards. Well, the closest children's hospital we have is in downtown Toronto, a little closer. Sick kids, possibility. Okay, put that on my list. Have you tried making your quilt with painter's tape? It works great and can be reused. I never have, but I am assuming you mean using painter's tape to mark off lines for quilting on a domestic machine. I have a long arm, so I don't do that. I don't need to do it, but I have heard of that being done. Terry says, yes, when we were donating my parents' furniture, thrift shops didn't want my dad's dresser because it had a coffee cup ring on the top. Are you serious? Yeah, they're very picky. Hospitals have gift shops and sell craft stuff.
I found that last year when I was donating a dresser that's all made out of wood. And they said, well, yeah, bring it around. We'll look at it first before we'll take it.
Yeah. Nana Mona says, yeah, she's here now. Great. See you, Nana. She's from Saskatchewan. Karen Burnett says, can't pocket. I don't know what that means. Can't pocket what? Or you need to explain yourself, Karen, because I don't understand what you mean by that. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking for places. I'm looking for places here in Ontario, in my area, in Canada right now, because I'd gladly donate to someplace else further out. It's just that I'm not made of money when it comes to that. I mean, it does cost me money to make these things, right? But that's fine. For me, it's a hobby. It's like, making a quilt and donating a quilt. Okay? Same kind of idea. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit about our plans for Australia. And Andy has asked a question that I told her I would answer. And she wants to know if we're going to do videos while we're in Australia. Yes, we're going to try. They may take the form of shorts, because shorts are a little bit easier. And I can do, I'm thinking in my head that I will do a series of shorts each day at different points in time. We're seeing something, put up a short about what we're seeing, kind of a thing, and do that. Now, the technology in Australia is pretty good as far as internet connections are concerned, but you are going through, like usually in a hotel is what we'd be using. We are getting SIM cards for our phones there, which will have the ability, like I said to Walter, I'm going to get one for my phone. Last time we went, we just got one on your phone. But I'm going to look in to see how much an unlimited gigabyte would be.
Their plans are very a lot cheaper than the plans here in Canada. So,
Karen says charities want cash donations because if you actually give them useful items, they can't pocket profits. Oh, but if the charity is selling it and it was given to them for that reason.
See, my concern would have been that they might not take those because they're not a
approved child safe.
Approved child safe, or they're not from a manufacturer that is approved child safe type of thing.
That could be too.
Which I could see.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Although most of these for an older child would be fine. Like I wouldn't give some of these items that I've created here. I would never give to a kid under the age of 5 or 6 with it. Because what do kids do? little kids especially, they put everything in their mouth. And although these are made with PLA, which is basically made from cornstarch, is how they manufacture it. It's out of all of the filaments you can buy to make things from, it has the least chemical properties to it. But, you know, they chew things, you know, use a
You don't want a thing, choking hazards.
No, you don't want choking hazards with it. So yeah. Are any of your LQS drop-off sites for Project Linus? Are any of your what's LQS? That's local quilt shops, drop-off sites for no.
No, not that we're aware of.
No. Oh no, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
That they're not. No, they're not. I mean, now that I've made contact with this lady once, I will try again and maybe see if I get a little faster response from her, because I did give 2 quilts. I finally got in contact and everything, but we'll see. But anyways, yeah, so back to our plans for the technology on this trip. We're both going to have SIM cards in our phones, and I'm going to see how much unlimited gigabytes or a large amount of gigabytes will cost. You looked into it, and how many gigabytes was it for $45 or something?
I think for, oh wait, geez, I'm not sure anymore. I think it was either 50 or 70 gigabytes for $45.
Okay, so, you know, that's a lot, but it's not a lot when you're starting to upload videos and things. That can, you know, eat up.
Well, that one that Russ, I think, said he had on, I don't know if he's here, but on when we were in Georgia, I think he had a 50 gigabyte thing, and he said it wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll try and get a decent sized plan so that if we need to upload videos, we've got the room.
Yeah, and we'll see what the speed
is. And
I
think you can buy additional data if you've
run out. Yeah. Karen's Salvation Army CEO makes a 6-figure salary and only gives 5 cents on a dollar to help people. Yeah, I would not be donating them to Salvation Army for several different reasons, which we've talked about back on previous editions of our live as well. But no, that one's not in the running for it. Nancy says, I've just joined a friendship quilts group that donate quilts. Maybe you have one in your area. Well, we have a guild that I did belong to, and they do charity quilts and that kind of thing. But I would not trust them with one of my quilts to give it to anybody because I don't like them at all. They are, oh, how do I put it gently? They're a bunch of bitches in that guild. So I had very bad experiences with that guild, and I was very involved with them for 2 years. I was secretary for it, and yeah, maybe different people now, but I'm not taking a chance on them. And I've heard other people in my area that used to belong to that particular guild say the same thing. They're just a bunch of crotchety old bitches. Sorry, but that's it. That's putting it very bluntly. Russ says prepaid plans are usually way more expensive than monthly plans, and I get a better price because, well, ATT bought my soul. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to look into it. So that will be, which is more than the other times we have been there. We've always relied upon the internet connection in the hotel for YouTube stuff. And some of them are really good. Some of them are really slow.
In Australia, the last time we were there, they were getting better.
Yeah.
But the internet plans at hotels are not usually too speedy. And we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
If we get a decent plan on our phones and stuff, we may be able to use that or something like that. So.
And I am willing to pay more money for this than I ever did before with it. This whole trip, money's not an issue as far as I am concerned this time. And when I say like that, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy.
Well, we're not staying at the Ritz.
No, we're not. No, but I mean, I have a certain amount of money set aside, which is more than enough for this trip, because to be honest about it, at our age, this is probably our last trip to Australia. There's still Japan.
Yeah, we still gotta go to that.
Yeah. So yeah, not that we're gonna stop traveling. It's just
we'd like to go some other places as well.
And that brings us to what are we going to see and what are we going to do when we're there? Well, This will be our fourth trip. And we have traveled Australia across those three other trips extensively. We've been to all the major cities that are there. We have been to Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Cairns, the Sun Coast, the Gold Coast, the capital of Australia,
Canberra.
Canberra. Yeah, we have done a
We've
lot.
even had 1 day in Tasmania.
Yeah.
That was from a cruise. So
Yeah, it sounds like a song. One night in Tasmania.
the only place we haven't gone is Darwin. We were planning to go there the last trip, but our flight got canceled, and we decided it's not worth going there.
Yeah. So, oh, I just noticed Jen's comment here. She's donated quilts to local high school for them to give to unwed mothers. Ah, I have a friend who's the head of family, whatever they call it now. She teaches what we used to call home ec, and then it became family and consumer studies, and now I don't know what they call it. But she's very involved with her. I'll have to contact her.
Yeah.
And that's because she would know, because she's always involved in things that are giving donations and that, and has kids doing projects for those kind of things. So yeah.
Or even if you could give some things to them for fundraisers or something.
Oh yeah, that's
for
true.
the school, because that's since you were a past educator, that may be something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've already donated a quilt to the senior citizens group here in Oshawa, and they're raffling it off, and I'm going to offer them another. If that worked out for them really well, I'll offer them another quilt.
Yeah.
To do, if for that kind of thing.
Give your toys to the senior citizens and they can play with them.
Well, I thought about them because they're kind of like fidget toys, but then they'll all get there and they'll be on the floor and they'll be all fighting over them, and there'll be death. I don't know, but I might ask. Our next door neighbor's very involved with the senior citizens group. I might ask him about the possibility. Maybe there is something there. I don't know.
So we've been all over the place in Australia. We haven't been to the Red Center yet, but we decided it was too expensive to go, and it's decided that it wasn't really something we really needed to see.
To the what? The Red Center?
Yeah, where
that sounds like something from the
Ayers
Handmaid's
Rock
Tale.
is. Ayers Rock.
Oh, they call it the Red Center?
Yeah, they call it the Red Center.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the Handmaid's Tale show, the Red Center. Where,
Anyway, so we're not going there. That's the Outback. So we've decided not to go there.
Yeah, well, it's way too expensive to see a rock.
We've been to Sydney before and stayed time in Sydney, and we've been to Brisbane before. We haven't driven between the two cities, but we decided that we want to just go back and re-see some things that we've seen before, and it's more of a relaxing holiday as opposed to we have to see everything at once.
Yeah. Yes, Karen, I do know about the Soya with Alaska. I'm sorry, this is going to sound bad. I'm not donating to any Americans. Charity starts at home first, and I'm Canadian. Just saying. Alaska should be ours, yes, for sure. But at the time, Canada didn't want it, and they sold it off. Like, stupid people. But, yeah. Foster kids need something. There's a quote. Could be. I was thinking of contacting the Children Aid Society about that too, and they usually are the ones that look after children that are in bad straits and things like that too. So, yeah, there are still possibilities. So when we come back from Australia, I'll start, seriously getting into these and seeing what's going on. So we've seen great parts of Australia. This time we'll start in Sydney. We fly to Sydney, as we've already mentioned about the flight. We're meeting up with my nephew and his partner for dinner. He's got a busy schedule because his partner's English and from England. Well, English from England, that makes sense. And his family happens to be coming over at the same time, and they've got a whole list of people coming over. So basically, they're sparing us an evening to go, but it'll be nice to see them. And I've made a couple of table runners for them. Not sure what their style is. One is reminiscent of Canada for my nephew. The other one is more bougie. That was the word that was used yesterday a lot on the pop-up soda, bougie. So it's my new word, bougie. But of course we have a rented car, And Walter has it all figured out as we make our way to Brisbane. Brisbane is what, 1,000 kilometers?
About 1,000 kilometers north of Sydney.
Yep.
So as you're traveling north, they're in their fall right now season, and so they're still warm. Actually, Australia doesn't get that cold really anywhere
No.
in the wintertime. So we'll be traveling up to Brisbane. So we're going to start in Sydney. We're going to a place called Newcastle. Then we're going to a place called Coffs Harbour. No. Then we're going to a place called Port Macquarie. Then we're going to a place called Coffs Harbour. We're staying a couple of nights in something called the Gold Coast. Then we're going to go to Brisbane, and we're going to be there for, I believe, 5 nights.
Yeah, 5 nights.
And then we're going to start traveling our way back to Sydney, and we're going to have a couple of stops back. We're going to a place called Stanthorpe, Tamworth, and Hunter Valley. We're staying. Hunter Valley is a area where they grow grapes for wines. And then we're going to end up back in Sydney for another 5 nights. And we have a car all the time, so we can do some side trips to areas that we have not seen yet, because when we were there before, we didn't have a car, so we relied on public transit. So now we've got a car. So
yeah. So yeah, we've got a busy itinerary, but also we're taking our time to get the Walter's built in time, that because there's all kinds of little places, that aren't really on the main track, but are close enough we could go and explore them and see. This will be a little different trip from the other 3, because now we'll see what we see. Put it that way. It's going to be more leisurely with it. And that's why I said about the money too and things like that, because we can afford this trip. We do not have to nickel and dime it as such. And so that takes a lot of pressure off on a trip. If we see a restaurant we want to go in, okay, we're going to go in. We're going to eat bugs. Tell them what bugs are, Walter.
yeah, there's an area near Brisbane called Byron Bay. It's a body of water in the Tasman Sea, and they have something there called Byron Bay bugs, and basically they're a type of lobster, and they don't have any heads on them though. They're all tail.
Well, you don't eat the head anyway, so that's
No,
even better.
they're supposed to be popular there, and I wanted to try them last time we were in Australia, but we never got around to it, and I'd like to try them this time.
So we want bugs. Went to Australia and got bugs. Yeah. But but things like that, it's going to be a little bit more leisurely, do what we want to do when we want to do it. Now, when we get to Brisbane too, we have a day planned to be with Philippa. Many of you know who Philippa is. She lives in Brisbane, and she's got some things planned, she says. So, and of course, so it'll be nice to see her when we go. And will we be shopping for fabric? Well, if we run into some shops, yes, I'll keep my eyes out. I understand that quilt stores in quilt shops in Australia are not as plentiful as we're used to in North America, and fabric does tend to be a little more expensive than what we're used to, and we already pay a lot of money for fabric right here. But definitely, I would like to get my hands on some Australian fabric as well. But you have to remember, too, we are limited with how much we can bring back because, we're flying, kind of a deal. But we'll see how that all works out. I mean, worst case scenario, if I see something I absolutely have to have or whatever, we'll buy a duffel bag and pack it in that.
Yeah,
and
we're
check
allowed
that.
to check suitcases.
So we only take one each, but we are allowed 2 each. So yeah, but that's not the main focus of this trip. Okay, our main focus is to get back there because we like Australia. We like the people. The people. Somebody asked me why. What is it about Australian people that you like? Well, they're very much like Canadians, except they don't feel they need to say sorry after everything they do or say, which is kind of nice, they're just a happy people in many ways. They like to have a good time, and yeah, they're very hospitable.
It's very relaxing to be
Yeah,
there.
it's very relaxing. I guess too, because we all have the same roots, Canadians and Australians. I mean, we were all colonies of the British Empire, right? And we still are all members of the Commonwealth as well. Um, Customs, the language, although Australians have some really different types of slang, but you get used to that very fast. We have our own in Canada as well. It's just you don't feel like you're necessarily in a foreign country. It's very comfortable. And I know some people will say, well, yeah, but you need to extend your horizons. You need to experience more exotic locales and things like that. No, I
Well,
don't.
we've done that.
We've done it.
We took on various other places. We like us. We always wanted to go to Australia for years and years and years and years, and then we finally went, and we really loved going there. So yeah, it is a long flight to get there, but it's kind of worth it. So
Yeah, Val says you should go to Stratty Island, put your car on the ferry and drive around there. It's beautiful. There are places to stay there too. It's out of Brisbane. Did you come across that in your
I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
I don't think I did, but
No.
There is a couple of islands off of Brisbane that I looked at and kind of already discounted.
You have to remember something about us. We are not nature people.
Yeah, we don't like. I mean, there's a lot of
We don't
nature
hike.
there, and we're not into hiking and
Ooh.
stuff like that.
No, my idea of roughing it is a hotel without room service.
Driving around in the bush is not my thing.
No, no.
Like driving around a city, sure, Brisbane, all
Yeah,
over the place.
not a
Sydney, all over the place.
Yep.
But wildlife, fuck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, oops.
We're urban animals, not rural. Okay. And yeah, if I want to see a lovely landscape, I'll look at a postcard. Yeah. The only time we did kind of do the trail thing and whatnot was when we went to Rottnest Island, which is where the quokkas are.
No.
And that was worth it to see the quokkas. Yeah, because the quokkas, and if you don't know what quokkas are, look them up on YouTube because you'll see them. They say they're the happiest animals on the face of the earth, and they are so cute. They're even cuter than a kangaroo, and much smaller, much smaller. With that, Andy says, I love watching videos about Australian politics. They make U.S. politics look like neophytes. Oh yeah, yeah. When we were over there last time, they were having some scandal with their prime minister and some hooker. So I don't know. Karen, I'll tell you something about koalas. They're really cute and they will eat your face. Okay? When you see people standing next to them, and we were some of those people getting their picture taken, there is a person, a zookeeper, gameskeeper, whatever, holding on to that koala. Because that koala, and they'll warn you, they'll tell you where you can touch them and when you can't touch them, where and when you can touch them and where and when you can't, kind of a thing. Because those koalas have nails on them about this long.
And they've got a beak.
And they have a beak kind of thing, yeah. And they're not afraid to use it. They're mangy little creatures, okay? They sleep for 22 hours a day and wake up for 2 hours a day to eat eucalyptus. And they're picky. There are something like over 30 some different varieties of eucalyptus in Australia. Only one do the koalas like. So, yeah, they're cute, but they'll eat you on that. The quokkas won't eat you, but you're not supposed to touch them or feed them human food with it. So, yeah, there's a lot of things in Australia that will kill you, but they're cute. You know, that's how they suck you in. Look at me, I'm so cute and cuddly. Touch me and I'll eat your arm. So, yeah. Barb says, my grandmother who traveled the world always said that Australia and New Zealand were her favorite places to visit. They're our favorite. They're our favorite.
Yeah, we haven't been back to New Zealand.
No.
New Zealand's a little too rural for us.
Yeah, now New Zealand is beautiful. And if you are into nature and if you're into hiking, mountains, things like that, New Zealand is the place to go. And we've done it. And I didn't dislike it or anything. It's just, I'd rather go to Australia than to that there. So must-sees and must-dos. Well, are we going to go to the Australian Zoo?
I don't know, we might.
I want to go to the Australian Zoo. I like the
Okay, we'll
Australian Zoo.
go to the
I
Australian
thought the
Zoo.
Australian Zoo was interesting.
It's near Brisbane. We can do it a day trip. Yeah.
I want to go to a kangaroo reserve. I want to pet and feed the kangaroos.
There's one on our way to Brisbane too. That's a nature reserve that we might go to.
Because I fed them before, and they're so fluffy, as I've said before, and they're so cute. I mean, they get on their hind feet and are well over 6 feet tall. But when you're feeding them, they'll take their little paws at the front, because their paws at the front are tiny. They hop around on the big ones, right? And they put their little paws on your shoulders for balance as they're eating out of your hand. Yes, you do get kangaroo spit all over your hands.
Yeah, kangaroo snot.
Yes, kangaroo snot. But they're so cute with it. The Tasmanian devils, on the other hand, they're very cute, but they don't let you feed them.
They'll take your hand
because
off.
they just go and there'll be nothing left of you. They're kind of like, I guess they're mammals. They're kind of the mammal version of a piranha. So with that, but we got to do that. We got to eat bugs. We got to see Philippa. And everything else is just gravy. Okay, I don't have any other must-dos. See my nephew.
We don't have any must-dos. We'll do stuff.
Yep.
There is a place that we're going to that they have a banana plantation. We can go have a tour of. And
a banana plantation? Oh, okay. Well, that's just bananas. All right. So yeah, we got a lot of things planned for it. So, and hopefully Air Canada will not screw around with us, but I'm expecting them to, because
we'll
that's basically their motto. Fly us, get screwed. Yeah, with that, but hopefully not. And yeah, so there will not be a Stephen and Walter live next week, because
we'll be flying.
We'll be flying. Yeah, we actually have a car picking us up at 1:45 and off to the airport, and hopefully all that goes well. So we are going to try to do some lives while we're over in Australia, but when those will be, there is no guess. So watch your notifications, hit the little bell, and make sure you subscribe and like the video. Yeah, yeah, it had to be said. And yeah, we come back to Canada the 18th of April. And then it's time to get working on the retreat. So that's it. Anything else? Nope. And I was looking, catching up, just see if there's anything we left here. Melissa, she still has a pic of my son holding a koala when he went to Australia, and he lived. That must have been a sleepy day for the koala. Linda says, look forward to your visiting Australia. Brenda, have a great week. See you on Wednesday. Yep, we will, Brenda. And thank you, Scrunchians. And have a great time on your trip. Yep. We plan to. That's the whole point. So, okay, everybody, have a good week. Make sure you tune into the video that'll drop tomorrow about the retreat, but my regular one will be up too. And there'll be an idiot quilter. And there will be a So Chatty on Friday. And we're going to look at, on our machine embroidery series, we're going to be looking at the editing screen on the embroidery machine and what you can do with that. And yeah, so that's it. Have a good one. We'll see everybody